G'day, ZiggyD here, and over the past week or so I've been doing a fair bit of theory crafting for the upcoming Duelling patch in Diablo 3. Today I want to theory craft a more fun topic than class builds, so I'm going to be taking a look at 5 legendaries that I think might possibly be useful in PvP. The idea behind these is that they are legendaries that aren't currently hugely useful in PvE, simply because there are much better options available. Each one of the 5 will have something about it, whether it's a proc effect or a rare stat, that I think will give it some sort of interesting usefulness when matched up against another real person, rather than just the mindless hordes of demons that we face in PvE. So let's get straight into it. Number 5, Sludgefist. This first legendary is a big maybe. It'll be the ultimate test of whether utility can overcome a lack of DPS in Diablo 3, and while I think there is only a small chance that the Sludgefists could actually be useful in PvP, I wanted to include them in this list because if they are, then it will be incredibly interesting to see. Sludgefists are very low level, and this means that they simply don't have very much DPS potential. Instead, their big point of interest lies in their 30 to 50% chance to stun on hit. Combined with some of the rapid fire monk abilities, we could be seeing a lot of stuns when using this weapon. Again, the big question here is whether this stun can overcome the lack of DPS this weapon suffers from. Number 4, the Helm of Command. In one of my earlier PvP theory crafting videos, I hypothesized that shields may end up playing a big part in PvP because of their ability to block incoming stuns and damage. The Helm of Command is an okay helmet all round, but if shields prove to be popular in PvP, then the 8% additional block chance provided by this helmet could be a big deal. With this 8% increase, we could be seeing block chances higher than 40%, which will make for some insane damage mitigation potential. Number 3, Lidless Wall. In terms of shields, the Lidless Wall is pretty bad. It doesn't even drop in Inferno anymore. The block chance and amounts are relatively low, and the possible all resist stat is very low. It does have a bonus to attack speed, which is something you can't normally get from a shield, but this is in no way enough to redeem this legendary for PvP. The thing that has me interested in this particular item is the chance to be shielded when hit by enemies. This proc effect works exactly like the shielding affix on elites, which means you have a short period of invulnerability. In PvP, short-term invulnerability can be a great way to deal with massive burst damage and can allow you to attack without risk. From my experience testing with the Lidless Wall, the proc effect happens quite often and lasts a good amount of time, but whether this will be enough to overcome the poor stats of the shield is yet to be seen. Number 2, Windforce. The Windforce has mostly fallen out of popular use in PvE, which is sad because it's such a cool and iconic weapon in the Diablo series. However, I think this particular weapon has great potential in PvP. I've even bought myself one in preparation. The first reason is that unlike a lot of the legendaries we've looked at here, the Windforce can actually roll quite high damage and other stats. Its damage is also non-elemental, or black damage, which means it can synergize brilliantly with cold damage Stone of Jordans and other elemental damage bonuses. And finally, it can roll a very high chance to knockback, up to 50%, which combined with the high attack speeds means you can put out a lot of CC. I managed to pick up a reasonably decent damage one with a socket and 46% knockback for around 15 million gold, and so far in testing it feels awesome. One thing to note about knockback in Diablo 3 is that not only does it make it easier for you to kite your enemies by putting more distance between yourself and them, but it also acts as a very short duration stun, which I think is going to be very powerful in PvP. And finally, number 1, the 300th Spear. A lot of Barbarians are talking about the potential of ranged barb builds in PvP, and I agree with them. I think Ancient Spear and Weapon Throw are going to be devastating in dueling, and the 300th Spear is the ultimate ranged barb weapon. It can roll okay base damage stats, has a bonus to move speed which is always important in PvP, and most importantly, it has huge damage bonus to both Ancient Spear and Weapon Throw, up to 50% on both. I'm not an expert on barbs myself, but I think this weapon is going to see a lot of use. Anyway, some of these may be a bit of a long shot, but I think it would be awesome if the variety of useful legendaries increases with the release of PvP. I'm getting pretty excited for the addition of dueling, and I hope you are too. That's it for today. I'm ZiggyD, thanks for watching.